Well, good afternoon or evening to my beautiful coffee beans. It's nice to see you. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We cover true crime here, and we've had quite the news cycle here lately. We've got an 18-year-old that died aboard a cruise. It appears that her stepbrother committed homicide against her by strangulation or cutting off her airway. We have a mom that allegedly was on the run with her kid, but not on the run with her kid, that was railroaded by the system, that's now out walking free, that nobody seems to worry about now. And then we still have Lilly, Jack, Sebastian Rogers, Summer Wells, and all the other stuff that still hasn't been solved. And so it's been a little while since we've touched the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. We know that this case is kind of, getting a little cold on what could have possibly happened to these siblings that disappeared off of Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, Canada. That's in Pictou County of Nova Scotia. And it's kind of a desolate, destitute area. Not a whole lot of people that live out there. Not a whole lot of money. It used to be a really well-known area for logging, and that all dried up, many, many years ago. And some people kind of stayed put. It's about 20 minutes, to a city, and I think the nearest city that they've got is New Glasgow. And they were seen in New Glasgow on May 1st with the children that were supposed to be in bed sick, that were out and about with them at a Dollarama and doing other things with them that day before ultimately disappearing. They disappeared in my opinion, between the 1st and the 2nd. I'm still uncertain what happened to the young siblings, but the parents' behavior seems odd. I mean, at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot we can provide other than it's odd. So let me just go ahead and duck out of here, and let's watch an intro video about the case, about 8 minutes long, and then we'll kind of dive into, just in case some people are new or coming across this channel for the first time, and you are unsure what this case is about. I've already done so much on this case, I decided just to go grab an 8-minute video that kind of talks about it. So here we go. We're covering true crime, and today we're covering the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Lilly and Jack Sullivan are brother and sister. Lilly is 6 years old and Jack is 4 years old. They disappeared from their trailer in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, Canada.
We were searching. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that. Screaming as loud as I can, until my throat hurt. Running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in a military outfit said I could go back into the woods.
They've been missing since May 2nd around 10 a.m. when their mother reported them missing. The last time she had stated she saw them or heard from them is around 8 a.m.
What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call.
This has sparked much controversy in Canada as well as the United States. Many people are tuned into this case, and here is what we know. We know that Malehya Brooks-Murray, the two children's mother, was at the scene when law enforcement got there. She stayed the night in the trailer, and the next day, on May 3rd, she had a few interviews, and then they had a briefing about her children where she abruptly left, got into an ambulance, and took off with her mother. She never was seen again. Now, we have heard that she did get her baby, Meadow. Meadow is with her mother. Although she left her car at a different location, it had been towed to her mother's home. Daniel Martell kind of took the role in media. He's the lead that everybody went to from media to get information about what was going on in the case, at least about what he could share with them.
The last few days have been very stressful. I mean, ever since Friday morning, when we noticed that the children were gone. Immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there. I'm out here still searching, still fighting to try to find them. That's all I can do.
The message is still, if anyone knows anything?
If anybody knows anything, just come forward as soon as possible. Two little kids are still out there. I want to find them. That's really all I can do. Still searching every day. I'm waiting for information. I have to let them do a lot of their stuff with the aircrafts and everything else, and dogs and searchers. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be coordinated, and I can't just go running through the woods. I want to, but I just can't right now because the search is just so far out. That I've seen, they were at Lansdowne Lake, and they told me that they scoured the lake, divers, and sonared the lake, and there's no evidence at all. If they were in this area, would have found them. My family's still searching. I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in. I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone.
He seemed to be very personable, but he always wanted to emphasize his willingness to help, including his wanting to take a polygraph test, which he says he received favorable results for.
I know it would be a big help in the case and kind of narrow down maybe some of the speculations and just provide more evidence.
Now, Daniel Martell is kind of an unusual character. We don't know really how to take him. He works at the sawmill about once a week and has a family of 7, according to his latest interview, where he stated he went from a family of 7 and down to 1.
Going from a family of 7 to just me, I mean, I have nothing but time to just think. I haven't even got to see my own kids, not even Meadow yet. But I'm still hopeful. I have supervised visits coming up that are granted by CPS.
But he worked at the sawmill only 1 day a week, and many people thought there is no possibility of that being enough income to support a family of 7. Now, Malehya's distance from the case, Malehya's priorities of changing her relationship status on Facebook and never really advocating for her children, and then shortly thereafter lawyering up, has been very, very suspicious and has a lot of red flags. Where are Lilly and Jack? Daniel Martell has been professing that he is innocent and has nothing to do with it. The children just wandered off. Unfortunately, the RCMP cannot find any evidence of that. And you're talking about 2 young children, 2 young, loud children, 6 and 4. There is no way, there's no evidence of where they would have wandered off to, especially in light that Jack has a pull-up on and Lilly has a backpack with strawberries on it. Certainly at this point, one of those items would be left out there, and they found nothing. So where does that leave us in this case? Well, according to Jim Hoskins, which is a former Nova Scotia detective, he states that he doesn't believe there's any way this could not be a criminal investigation. Law enforcement is just not sitting on their bums, twiddling their thumbs. They're out there, they're working this case. And if there's no evidence supporting that these children wandered off, then maybe something more nefarious is in play.
He also stated that they do not give polygraph tests simply because somebody requests them. They use them as an investigative tool, that they're not really doing lie detector tests because they're not trying to find out if they're lying. And some of these things are psychological in nature. So let me know your thoughts. Do you believe Lilly and Jack wandered off? Are you now suspecting that it's possible that there was an abduction? Or do you truly believe there's something more that needs to be had with the mom and the stepfather? God bless each and every one of you. Until next time, please be safe.
All right, so that's kind of the introduction into all of this with Lilly and Jack. I grabbed that because it was kind of more thorough. It was from way back. It was about from 5 or 6 months ago. So I did see that Pammy, thank you, Pammy, for gifting 10 Bullhorn Betty memberships. I certainly appreciate that. I know we had some fan fun come in, so give me just a second. Let me find some stuff, and then I'll thank all of you guys here before we jump in. Thank you so much, Eeyore Blue. I saw your comment. You're like, I never can chat. I can never type anything. Got to be careful. It's a little tricky. Melanie says, good evening, Betty, Delilah, mods, and chat. Much love to you all, BHB. You're the best. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you as well. Eeyore Blue, 12 months. Well, happy birthday to you, Eeyore. I think we need to sing you a birthday song. We sing everybody a birthday song that hits 12 months. So every 12 months, 24 months, you guys get it. Birthday, your BHB birthday. But, it always seems to pop up, out of nowhere. And I'm not prepared. I guess I kind of am prepared. I did clean up the office just a little bit. Oh, good gracious. Good gracious, woman. Eeyore Blues. Let me get these off. We got a birthday up in the house. We got a birthday. Whose birthday is it? It's Eeyore Blues. BHB birthday. No, just chat. Let's go to just chat. We got to put this up. There we go. Why not? I think it's a perfect backdrop for you, Eeyore. I think it's a perfect backdrop. And excuse me. Well, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy BHB birthday, your blues. Happy birthday to you. Wow. My Brando never fails. Never fails. Why did we lose 13 people? Was it that bad? No. I'm just joking. Oh, good gracious. That was fun. All right. And Pammy Bear, thank you for gifting 10 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Good gracious. 10 Bullhorn Betty memberships. I see you guys all laughing in here. Look at that. I see you all. So, Linda, SJ, Carrie, Just My Girls, Tap Dancer Lizzie, Lori, Karen, Cotty Branch, No More Lies, Ashley. Oh, you guys got it. Oh, Osis, I can't pronounce it. Well, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. I.e. the insane asylum. Grab your straitjacket into your padded room and welcome aboard, folks. Welcome welcome aboard. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. So that was kind of our intro into what was going on. But, you know, at the end of the day, we had these two beautiful children that disappeared. Oh, thank you, Erna. Erna became the newest member of this crazy family we call the Coffee Club because I'm a love machine. Ow! Connie, thank you. Happy birthday. Donna Joe, it's nice to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, it's already starting to move. I'm supposed to pause that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's just the same thing we've already heard. But I just wanted you guys to hear it from her herself. This is Malehya Brooks-Murray. Now, this is the kid's mom, okay? So this interview, this Hello Kitty shirt and interview, she gave on May 3rd, okay? So the children were reported missing May 2nd, okay? The cavalry came in Nova Scotia. They had all these people doing ground searches. No dogs. Dogs didn't come in for hours, okay? After they've already trampled the crime scene and covered up any type of, you know, whatever. I digress. I don't want to beat up anybody. You got to work with what you got, right? And it sounds like in Nova Scotia, they have resources. This is not the best place for resources. Not a whole lot of crime happens in this area. They don't have a lot of stuff prepared for this area. You know, they don't have the need for all those resources. Hey, Dixie, it's nice to see you. Lisa B, always nice to see you. Betty fan, Mama, it's nice to see you. But right after this interview on May 3rd, so she calls the children in, right? We know that she stayed the night in the trailer that night without the children, and she wakes up the 3rd, and the first thing she's dealing with is a whole bunch of cameras in her face. Well, this is also the day that they find the pink blanket, and it's also the day that law enforcement must have thought that pink blanket was planted. There was something that triggered this woman to freak the flip out. Hello, I'm back, she says. I'm back. Well, thank you. We appreciate it. Astrology for the mystics. It's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing well. Big Mac Mike up in the house. And so shortly after this interview, I believe this interview was taken in the morning, okay? But by afternoon, she splits. They're giving from my understanding, they're giving a conference, or they're doing like a debriefing, telling them everything, and Malehya just starts having some type of what appears to be a panic attack or of sorts, and is excused to the ambulance, and then ends up leaving with like her mom or her friend or something like that. They leave her vehicle there. She never goes back for her vehicle, and she never shows back up to this site ever again, okay? Immediately after leaving, she thinks that it's a priority for her to change her relationship status with Daniel Martell. And then she never returns again. Now, one of the things that were dismissed almost up front with this case was abduction. Was that premature? You know, in kind of hindsight 2020, you know, many people are now circling back. I'm not one of those people, by the way. Hey, T-Bird, it's nice to see you. But thank you for that. But I will tell you that in my opinion, they weren't abducted. I'm still not there yet. The parents' behavior is too odd for me to dismiss, okay? And that's one of the reasons why I'm dismissing the abduction theory, okay? It's just something doesn't seem right. It seems like there was a lot of substances in this house. It seems like Malehya has hidden. We see this from a lot of moms that do bad, okay? Look at Katie Proudfoot. Look at Candace Bly. Right? So we see this a lot in these type of cases. This is not our first time where mommy decides to go bye-bye. Hey, Halston, it's nice to see you. Blessed Nana. Hello. Sonia, good evening. So this is where my problem lies. You know, it makes it very difficult, but there are now people that are starting to talk about this case potentially being an abduction. And I'm not sure how our talking points, hey Pebbles, it's nice to see you, love. I don't know how our talking points are going to work from this point forward. I just don't. Because I'm kind of not I just don't believe the abduction theory. There's a few reasons why I personally don't believe the abduction theory. I think the majority of the reasons why I don't believe the abduction theory, if I had to pinpoint it, I think it has to do with the fact that it feels a little bit like Summer Wells. Crystal Pistols, it's nice to see you. Brenda Sue, hello, Vicky. It's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well this evening. But I think that's, if I had to pinpoint it, that's what it is. This feels a lot like Summer Wells with the area. Not that they were on a mountain, right? That not necessarily that, but the fact that they're kind of in this desolate area where there's not a whole lot of people, that, there's not a whole lot of passing through traffic. And it's kind of hard to have an abduction when you don't have a whole lot of movement. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of think that that's why I don't really believe in the abduction theory, because there's too many variables that have to match up perfectly for that to be a possibility. Somebody would just have to be driving down the road at just the right time to see the kids, which it doesn't seem like anybody driving down the road would be able to see the children from the roadway. So, you just have a whole host of issues that come along with the theory of the abduction that just don't that would never logically make sense. And I think that's why it was dismissed so early on. Thank you, Gigi, for your subscription. I think that's the reason why they moved past that so quickly. And I do apologize, Gigi. It takes 2 days to speak in my chat. We do that to keep the trolls down and to control the chat a little bit. So welcome to the Bullhorn Betty channel. In a couple days, 48 hours, you'll be able to chat. We will be circling back to this case. This case is going nowhere because they don't know where these children are. They have found nothing. There have been no arrests, and there have been no explanations for why these children just poof disappeared. There was no abduction, in my opinion. Yeah, that's it. I just don't. It requires too. The only issue I have with it is it just requires too many variables to line up perfectly in order for that theory to work. And could it? Obviously there's a difference between possibility and probability, and anything is possible. We can all agree that we've been taught our entire life that anything is possible. But just because anything is possible doesn't mean that it happened or it could happen. The probability of it happening may be very, very low. Now, I'm not saying that the probability is like, I think the probability of an abduction is higher in this case than, say, the Summer Wells case. There is more of a probability that it could have happened in this case as opposed to Summer Wells' case, but still so low on the totem pole that it doesn't make sense for that to be our main focus. Our main focus, and it doesn't make sense from everybody, like that new guy that just went out there in the woods, the nonprofit organization that just went out there in the woods, ended up saying what to us? He ended up telling us that he believes that it's got a very low probability of these children wandering into the woods. Apparently, the woods are so thick that it's almost a deterrent in and of itself. And you're talking about young kids. We have to take ourselves back to being, we're not even into that area where we're not scared. Okay, guys? At the ages of 6 and 4, you're still scared pretty easily. Okay, so you have to take that into consideration as well. Is the timidness of children. Even the most boisterous and most energetic children still possess fear, right? I mean, at 4 and 6 years old, you're still fearful. Like you're not going to walk into a dark room you've never walked into before. It creeps you out as a kid. I don't know why it creeps us out as a kid, but apparently, when we're learning to go to sleep without lights on, you remember, we are very scared that there's something under our bed, the unknown. It takes us a long time to outgrow that that fear that we all have when we're growing up of the monster under our bed. Where did that fear come from? I still, for the life of me, don't know where the fear of the monster under the bed came from. But it seems like more times than not, children have that fear. It's kind of instinctual. Maybe that's us learning our instincts, and our instincts going a little wackadoo. I don't know. I just know that we have these instincts, right? So, anyways, this is her. I think you guys heard the full statement in the intro video coming into this, but just in case you guys didn't and you want to hear it for yourself, this is literally the only interview this mother has ever given about her children. She's never once begged for her children's return. She's never spoke to an abductor, this alleged abductor that she feels might have her children. Hey, Cheyenne, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well this evening. And these are, major concerns, I think, because let's face it, the predominant, true crime channel, okay? Like right now we have 100, it's bouncing between 142, around 150, individuals that are in this chat right now. And I can guarantee that the majority of this chat, about 90% or more, are women. Okay, so, a lot of this stuff, when we're talking about it, a lot of you ladies have children. Many of you ladies have grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and we celebrate you, and we celebrate, your family's growing and stuff like that. Hey, Just Breathe, it's nice to see ya. Hey, Alicia, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Reminding us, 83, don't forget to hit that like button on your way in. We got, we're actually doing pretty good. We got 164 people in the chat, and about half of y'all have given thumbs up. So if you guys don't mind, please consider hitting that thumbs up button. Leave your DNA for the old bets. I greatly appreciate it. But, when we see these cases, you have to look at yourselves as moms and grandmas and great-grandmas, and you have to ask yourself, is this the way I would act if my loved one was missing? And, I've got grandchildren, but you all know I didn't have my own biological children. I had two stepdaughters and several grandchildren, okay, that I, two of them that were born while I was grandma, right? One that was 6 months old when I started dating grandpa. And so we kind of had that kind of blended family. And I got to tell you that I know how I personally would feel over my grandchildren. And again, I don't really think blood has anything to do with it. I just think humanity has something to do with it, because I would hurt somebody. If I got a call tomorrow and somebody told me my grandkids were missing, or somebody hurt the head, a hair on my grandchildren's head, I haven't seen them in a couple years. I would probably lose you guys would watch Bullhorn Betty go ballistic, and truly ballistic. Like, you don't mess with somebody's family. I think everybody here can agree with that. But you guys know personally what you would do for your family, okay? What links you would be willing to go. You don't have to say it in the chat or anything. I think we all kind of know that we would be a wildebeest for our loved ones, okay? And so when we come here and we watch these shows, and we come here and we watch these news articles, and we learn about these parents, and we don't see the behavior that we ourselves at minimum would expect from a parent, it raises our eyebrows. The hair on the back of our neck starts standing up a little bit. We're looking at them saying, okay, something doesn't feel right here. Why? Because they're not acting normal. Okay? How would you act? How would the majority of our channel act? The majority of our channel would be worried. They would be begging. They would be, just doing anything they can to find their children, because we've watched enough of these things. We've grabbed the videos. We've grabbed the body cam footage of law enforcement. We've looked at parents, men and women, that have lost their children, that children have wandered off. We've seen true fear in these parents' eyes, where it's taking everything, like law enforcement holding them back from them, going out there to find their child because the law enforcement is involved. They don't want you out there searching. They don't want you getting involved in case something, goes awry. They want to make sure that they contain that scene very quickly. So they don't let just anybody, when they're called in, they don't let anybody just start wandering and searching. They keep that family and the parents there. And you see the parents chomping at the bit trying to get out there. In many of these cases, when we have the children missing, such as Dawn Wells, Candace Bly, the Proud Feet, these folks here, one thing you notice is the lack of urgency. Nobody seems to be fearful of getting these children back. Nobody seems to be talking to any specific person. Nobody has the proverbial, photo saying, this is my child, just get out there and search. We'll talk about the rest of this later. This is my child. This is my kid. I need everybody's eyes on this child. Those are the things that we're expecting parents to do. And all too often when we come across these weird cases, we're not seeing that. When we started seeing stuff like that, because we don't see it very often, folks. It was in the Michael Monkey Vaughn case. That's when we got to see a mom, picking up the photo, and every time she's on somewhere, she's got the photo. Have you seen this boy? Have you seen this boy? This is my son. That's when you got to see that action. Because that woman had absolutely zero to do with her child missing. And you get to compare that behavior to a behavior of, say, a parent that does have a child missing, like Adam Montgomery. His behavior kind of mimicked that of the West, Jacqueline and Trezell West, which were from Classic and Sincere. The two boys that were adopted, that they unalived, that they only adopted for money. And they tried to act like the kids were still there for money, even though that they had done off the kids months prior to. And then it was getting close to Christmas, and the extended family, the family that the biological family, they have an opportunity every year to see those children, and they were calling to make the schedule to see the children for Christmas, and they had no children to produce. And then all of a sudden, those children disappeared at the same time. And guess what? Their mommy and daddy unalived them, and then had their children help them cover the crime, which is pretty twisted and sick. I just think it's pretty interesting that these parents seem not to have any urgency. Even Jacqueline and Trezell West, they never had any urgency. They were too busy trying to act cool and calm and understanding why there was such an outrage from the family. Let's not forget that. But they all acted similar in behavior. And they're all acting similar in behavior as, if you go back and look at Trezell and Jacqueline West's, they had the mask on their face, but look at their body language and how they handled themselves. They handled themselves much like Malehya, what you're about to see Malehya look like, okay? This is the problem that I have. Listen.
I want them home. I want to hold them.
I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's a little low.
What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them.
I was hoping that this one actually had the video of her. I think it's on CTV. But you can see her body language right here. You can see her talking on the other one, and I'm not sure why this one isn't, but anyways.
And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing. But
See, she's got a lot of inferences. She's saying that you guys can't see, you guys can't hear it. Okay, hold on. You guys should be able to hear it. Oh, you guys are right. You guys can't hear it. Oops. Did I do that? Okay, thank you for letting me know that. Let's go back.
I want them home. I want to hold.
Uh-oh. Now I got the echo, and I can't remember what I did to take the echo off before. Oh, well.
Them.
You guys aren't hearing the echo, are you?
What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them.
You guys still can't hear that?
and they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up, and I tell my partner, Daniel.
Okay, so some people are saying it's low. Some people are saying they can't hear it. I can't tell what the issue is, honestly. Just might be just what it is. It was a very low recording anyways. Can you guys hear it now?
I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere.
No, I don't think you guys are going to be able to hear it. I don't know what's going on. But you guys were able to hear the other stuff, right? Can you guys hear this or no?
Scotia, in New Brunswick, the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association, known as CASERA, Department of Natural Resources Air Services, Nova Scotia Public Safety and Field Communications, Nova Scotia.
Can you guys hear that? Yes, you guys can hear that. Yes, can hear. Okay. That's louder. Okay. And is that one echoing? I don't know why it all of a sudden started echoing in my ear. Maybe it's because of, I think it's because of the mute output, monitor off. We'll have to turn the gift chat off. Maybe that'll help. Let me see if it helps. It may not help.
Scotia Guard, Joint Rescue Coordination Center, Salvation Army, the Canada Heavy Urban Search and Rescue Task Force 5, and several RCMP units, including police, dog services, and drone operators. Since Saturday, because we treat all missing person files as suspicious until our investigation leads us to determine otherwise, our Major Crimes Unit has been engaged. It's been an all-hands-on-deck effort using every available resource and tool. Since the search began on May 2nd, it has been concentrated in the Garlic Road area and has covered 4 square kilometers of heavy, wooded, rural terrain. Up to 160 trained volunteer searchers, along with many others, have been involved in the search each day. Tens of thousands of search hours have been dedicated to scouring the area, and GSAR has confirmed that over 100 tracks have been laid using GPS and grid searches. Efforts to locate Lilly and Jack have also included 2 vulnerable missing person alerts, posting the children's photos and information on Nova Scotia RCMP website and social media accounts. Our social accounts have more than 300,000 followers, and releasing information to local media as well as reporters across the country. Lilly and Jack have made headlines from coast to coast. RCMP officers continued with the missing person investigation, speaking with family and community members to gather tips and other information that could help locate the children. We have not received any confirmed reports of sightings.
All right, so as you guys see, we had a search. It yielded nothing. There were more searches that happened. It yielded nothing. We're coming up to it's starting to snow. This is when it gets cold in this area, it gets very, very cold. So everything is going to have to come to an end. We're about to go in the winter months. I hear the winter months in this area are brutal. So they're doing last-ditch efforts to try to find these children. It's doing no good whatsoever. They're making basically they're getting no luck. And then of course we're learning that there has been additional polygraphs that were done in addition to the polygraphs that were already given. They haven't been able to, from my understanding, they've done several polygraph tests, both of the parents. I personally, now again, I'm not an expert on polygraph administration. I can only go from what I was told by polygraph administrators that I've spoken to in the past. And it's don't commingle the questions, don't commingle the questions, don't commingle the questions. And when Daniel was on the Drunk Turkey show, we learned there were some questions asked, and he talked to Daniel about the questions that he was asked by the the polygraph administrator. and talked about one of the first questions asked was if he had murdered both Lilly and Jack. And if that was the question, the very first question, from my understanding, that would have been the wrong or inappropriate or wrong type of question to ask, because you need to be separating the children. The children can't be commingled together because it's an assumption that they disappeared together. They can't make those assumptions. They have to do them separately. Did you murder Jack? Did you murder Lilly? Do you know where Lilly is? Do you know where Jack is? You don't ask them, do you know where Lilly and Jack is? Because what if he knows where one is and one isn't? Then he's going, then it's going to give a false positive or a false negative or inconclusive or an inconclusive test. And it's simply because they ask the wrong types of questions. That's just my understanding. I'm also learning that another voluntary organization joined the search. And this is just something that recently came out. We learned about the first nonprofit organization that was out there looking for stuff. They did find some things, including a box that had Daniel Martell's name referenced in it from a 2014 entry into some type of book or something to that extent, stating that he left a quarter there. At the end of the day, there were things that were found, and they were photographed and sent to Malehya Brooks-Murray, and she said they were not her children's. So it was, even though they did find some things of interest, nothing found the children, and nothing found any evidence of the children, which, again, support that these children most likely didn't just wander off, that there's something else more, associated with this, either abduction or truly foul play from one or both of the parents. So a volunteer search organization with roots in Owen Sound joined the nation's most publicized missing persons case this weekend. So the last weekend they helped out. So Lilly and Jack Sullivan were reported missing in their we know the details. Lansdowne Station. They were 6 and 4 respectively at the time. We know Jack just turned 5, and he was not here for his birthday. We're going to go over the statement Malehya Brooks-Murray wrote. In the absence of evidence, various rumors and theories have swirled around the case, but RCMP says it's being investigated under a Missing Persons Act and not believed to be criminal. And I do not believe that, because they had major crimes involved in this case in less than 24 hours after this child case. So I don't even believe this statement to be true. The dense woods have been searched tirelessly by the RCMP and rescue volunteers, including helicopters and drones. Most recently, RCMP cadaver dogs searched a total of 40 kilometers in the area of where the children were reported missing. Everything came up, with nothing. The co-founder of Please Bring Me Home, a nonprofit search organization that works to bring closure to family and missing persons, called the case of the missing Sullivan children uncommon. So that's another thing. Uncommon, defies logic. These are things, and then you couple that with the parents' weird behavior, and it really kind of starts looking, like they may have more knowledge of what happened. The issue is you have RCMP saying there's no criminal element to this case at this time, which means the kids wandered. That's all that means. They wandered away. Oldreeve, I can't pronounce his name, said, but you have a ground search and a rescue saying that they've searched everywhere and they're not there. So you can't have both of those things. Both of those things cannot be true. And that's where we're all at. Both of those things cannot be true. We can't have children wandered off and them never being found. It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't work like that. So this volunteer group, they had 30 volunteers, which we had discussed, overlooked and concealed. They were focusing on the waterways and the conditions of the grounds to see if there was any type of concealment associated with this, and apparently they didn't find anything useful. Volunteers focused mainly on the banks of the Middle River of Pictou, an old child's t-shirt, geocaching kit with, the stepfather's name in it, And then, of course, the RCMP told the CBC News that the investigation reviewed the materials and found that they hold no relevance. So nothing of relevance was found at any stage of this voluntary investigation. But the family members of the missing reached out, and the organization already had planned on searching Nova Scotia to look for Jesse Morrissey, who went missing in 2022 in Leamington area of Cumberland County. It was a busy weekend for old Dreve, who drove nearly 2,000 kilometers to Lansdowne. So we're still getting some nonprofit organizations coming in and helping out with the case, but nothing that's really producing anything to help them. And again, they were last seen allegedly on May 2nd. We can only say that a third party on May 1st saw them. We don't know what happened from Dollarama to the time that they were reported missing, because there is no third party that saw those children that we are aware of. And there are some interviews here that we know of that go to Daniel's interview with the Drunk Turkey Show. Now, as I was looking at this, I realized that the Deception Detective just dropped this new video where he reviews this section, about a 20-minute section or a 10-minute section of this commentary with Daniel on the Drunk Turkey Show. So I'm not going over that tonight, okay? I wanted to bring your attention to it because I want you guys to all review it from the Deception Detective before we go over it. So we'll probably go over this by Wednesday. So this should give you guys a good 24 or 48 hours to go over, this interview with the Deception Detective. If you guys have never subbed up to the Deception Detective, I highly recommend it. I learn a lot from him. And I think that is kind of his shtick. He likes to teach people about his craft, and that's why he has the deck of cards, so you can learn and at least to be more plugged in and engaged to deception and deception tactics. And I think it's very, very important, and I learn a lot from him. So get over there, check it out. Again, this is on the Deception Detective's YouTube channel right there. Right there, there he is. And you just type it in, Deception Detective. If you see this little thumbnail right here, it's a guy like with head, I think he's got earphones on and, obviously a mic in front of his face. That is the right place you want to go. So we will be going over this in a couple days. So get over there, check it out, be knowledgeable about his assessment of this particular statement in this interview. But I found that Daniel's statements, a lot of his statements have kind of fallen flat on my ears, okay? It's like they're what we expect people to say, but for some reason they're not working for him. It just feels forced. It feels deceptive. I don't know how to express it. I just don't know how to express it. Anyways, guys, I wanted to touch base on this. We're going to be expanding on this a little bit more tomorrow morning, okay? We're going to be expanding on Lilly and Jack Sullivan and really getting caught up with this case. I truly believe, statistically, one thing that we've learned doing this for the length that we've done this is that it's most likely 99.9% of the time it is somebody that they know. There were only 3 adults in this house, okay, on this property, and I doubt Janie McKenzie is doing something to these children, okay? So we only have Daniel and Malehya Brooks-Murray on the property to do something. If we were to go by statistics, which, let's face it, statistics are statistics. That means we're dealing with the law of large numbers. That means the majority of the cases, 99.9% of the cases, it is somebody those children know. Now, if you look at how many people know those children within the close proximity, you've got maybe 4 people, right? You've got his uncle, his mom, him, Malehya, and that's kind of it, okay? There's not a whole lot of people. So it doesn't make sense for it to be a stranger danger, because that is the least likely that he could ever be statistically, is stranger danger. And the fact that nobody saw anything that morning, and the fact that there was things planted, it leads me to believe that somebody is intentionally trying to move the investigation to a specific direction and take people away from a specific direction. If I had to guess why a pink blanket would be a kilometer away from the home, it's to take the search down that direction. So obviously they needed to relieve the searching in some direction, which tells me that wherever they were searching the day before is probably where these children were getting very close. And for some reason, I feel like the children were moved at some point. I don't know. I feel some type of way about this case. I pray to God the children are found soon. I would like to know, but even if the children aren't found soon, I mean, there's so many places out there that those kids could have been stashed and left, just like Summer Wells. And we have no answers, and we have two parents that aren't really urgent, not going crazy about finding the kids, much like Chris and Katie Proudfoot. They're just ready to move on with their life and, act like these children didn't exist. It's just the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life, and here we go again. So we're going to break down the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. We're going to go back to the beginning. We're also going to be taking some time and going back to the beginning of Sebastian Drake Rogers. Sebastian Drake Rogers is going to take us weeks. So if you guys are ready to review the case, there's been new information. We've had Chris come out and act like a buffoon several more times. So there's going to be some interesting information released from all of that. So it's going to be very interesting, and I think we should really take the time and just start rolling through it again. It's going to be hours upon hours upon hours of content and footage, and we're going to have to go back to our content because we were derailed. When I got arrested, we were talking about some things before those protective orders. We obviously scared the shit out of Chris and Katie, so we were talking about something before those protective orders were finally brought about, right? And we need to go back and figure out what that was. So we're going to be going back to time. We're going to go back in time. We're going to listen to what we were talking about at that time, and we're going to start honing in, because I think we were winner chicken dinner, and I think it kind of threw us off, and I think that was intentional to throw us off. I will continuously state on my platform, I believe Katie Proudfoot is a murderer, and I believe Christopher Proudfoot helped her cover up the murder, and I'm not going to change my mind about that until we find Sebastian Drake Rogers healthy and alive. I think Katie needs to be in prison. I think Christopher Proudfoot needs to be in prison. I do not believe that Sumner County is so freaking stupid. They're not looking at these parents. There's just I've looked at it. I've talked to some friends of mine, some law enforcement friends of mine, and they said there's just no way. No matter how angry I get at this guy, there's no way that they can't possibly be looking at these two people specifically. So that's given me a little bit of comfort that they're looking at him, but obviously there's something missing. They're missing a critical component. And again, you got to remember, Tennessee is not a circumstantial state. They've got corruption out the wazoo in the entire state. There's corruption all over the place in the state of Tennessee. Okay, you got corrupt judges. You've got corrupt law enforcement. And the people that are out there know that this is true, okay? It's not like they're surprised or shocked. They'll deny it to the public, but they know what I'm saying is true, okay? I've been around the block a time or two. I know corruption when I see it. I'm in my politics. I mean, for the love of everything holy, we're plucking, politicians off their seats because they did criminal activity, most of them fraud and laundering, right? And most of our politicians are being picked up right now on fraud charges. I wish something would be done about the corruption in Tennessee, the small town corruption. It's not getting better. And in my opinion, it's getting worse. And something's got to be done. Something has got to be done. I do not trust Marsha Blackburn to get the job done. Okay, I want Marsha Blackburn out of the Senate. You guys know how I feel about, I just don't care for her type of politics. I don't think she's a strong woman. I don't think she's got a strong backbone. I think she's there because she's making money and she's got deep pockets. She's got, sponsors for her garbage. And I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of it. This politics is starting to affect the children in the state of Tennessee. Children are disappearing at an alarming number. They're doing absolutely zero. While frickin' Florida is running circles around the entire world right now and trying to find the children that are being put out there and that are being hurt and harmed by adults, we're leading the charge on that. And we've got places like Tennessee that are just now making, diddling with children a felony. They are so far behind. It is disgusting and it's deplorable. It's almost like they promote this kind of conduct from parents because they're so slow at getting it nipped in the bud. So slow at getting nipped in the bud, okay? Children are dying at alarming numbers in the state of Tennessee, and Tennessee is not telling you that. Why? Because they can't find the bodies, and they're not looking for them either. So we've got a lot of people just missing, and they like them classified as missing because they don't have to do their damn job. Okay? That's kind of where I'm sitting on all of this. It feels like they don't want to do their damn job. Nobody in Tennessee wants to do their damn job. They want to sit there and act like they got the backbone, they got the balls, and they know what the hell they're doing. But when you lift up their skirt, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Nothing at all. Just a bunch of bitches. That's it. Just saying. Just saying.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
We got problems. We got problems in the state of Tennessee. It is, Beth. I said Beth, I'm so sorry about that. But yes, it is. Tennessee really is corrupt. I think that there are less communities that aren't corrupt than there are corruption. I believe that there are some good, wholesome communities in Tennessee. I do believe there are. But I also believe that there are terrible communities in Tennessee. Terrible. Okay? There's just a lot of corruption. There's a lot of good old boys clubs that have been able to get away with it for so long. And now we're here in 2025, social media. We're teaching people how to do record requests. We're teaching the whole entire planet how to hold their politicians accountable. We've made a huge push. We're opening, the boards of county commissioners all over the country. Like even in our community, we now have, people can call in if you have something in, because we know that a lot of parents have to work and stuff like that. So we fought really hard for our community to be involved. And so we had our board of county commissioners open up the phone. They don't like to do it. They don't like listening to people or dragging out the, meetings to hours in some cases. But at the end of the day, we are the people they work for. And to stop us from being able to be part of our government is a disservice to them as well as the community. And so they have at least given us that. And I know that a lot of other communities don't even get that. So I definitely recommend it. Anyways, guys, we have a lot to go over on the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. Where are they? I truly don't know. Were they abducted or were they murdered? I guess only time will tell, but we are going to be covering this case, and we're going to start diving back into Summer Wells. I think we need to run Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers case because they're about the same. It looks like Chris Proudfoot must have picked up the phone and called Don Wells and said, hey, Don, how did you get rid of Summer? Oh, that's how you did it, eh? Gotcha. Okay. All right there, Mr. Wells. I appreciate you taking the time to take my call. I kind of feel like that's what they did. I don't know if that's what they did. I kind of feel like that's what they did. I absolutely agree an absolute... Yeah, I think so. I think we need to go back through some of the work that we did. You know? But I mean, but Beth, in all fairness, I do believe that. Like, it seems like they have too many notes on the Summer Wells case. And Chris has brought up the Summer Wells case too much. And we all know, I mean, we all, outside of the hate channels, which were employed by Chris and Katie, right? The same people that were employed for the Wells to help them battle their thing. I mean, these hate channels are really getting a bad name about protecting bad guys. But then when you look at these hate channels and you realize they're all felons that beat their own children, it's kind of hard not to understand why they go to bat for these things. And to see thousands of people go and collate in their chat rooms. And it just makes, I keep wondering, do you all beat your children? Are you all crack pipe smokers? I mean, what is it? What is it? Because, you know, shit just kind of likes to... It's like a pile of poop. You know how you have all those flies? That's what I feel like every time I see a hate channel. Like, the hate channel's the pile of poop. And those are the bitter flies that like to eat the poop. You know? That's what I think of the hate channels. I'm not going to lie. I think the hate channels are the pile of poop. And their audience members are the flies. I'm just saying. I bet you guys are like, that's the best description. You guys know what I'm talking about. Don't tell me you guys weren't out at the farm a time or two. You didn't go see those clusters of cow dung or horse dung. What was all over when you were walking by? Those freaking horse flies. All right? Yeah, chlamydia, she's the dung. And she's the dung. She's the dung. Let's see if we got it. She's the dung. Okay. All right, guys. I need to quit picking on the hate channels, right? We don't like them. Let them be dung, okay? Let their flies be a mass. You know, we're good with it. Just keep the shit over there on that side of the street, and we will be just fine. That's all I'm saying. I got Delilah, okay? I got enough shit to shovel, okay? I'm just letting you know. I got enough shit to shovel. I don't want to shovel any more shit. I don't want to shovel any more shit. All right, guys, that's what I had for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow to kind of break into the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. We got away from it a little bit. I want to kind of pull us back into it because I feel like there's something... I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to go this way, you know? I mean, these children were in the care of their mommy and daddy, and their mommy and daddy can't produce them. And their mommy and daddy actually, as a matter of fact, should be in jail for negligence all by itself because the children were outside of the house at a reasonable time when both parents should have been up and with no supervision, and that supervision resulted in a death. And we are saying that because there's no possibility of these children living, but even if they were, they couldn't make the stretch that it resulted in a death. They can definitely say that they were neglectful, which resulted in children never being found again. And at the end of the day, they were all home. They were home. They were responsible, and not one adult were watching these children at 10 o'clock in the morning. 10 o'clock in the morning. There's no excuse for that. None. So I think that at the minimum, I think they should be arrested, but that's like in all of our cases. And why they don't arrest them for these child neglect and endangerment charges, I don't know, because they should have gotten Don Wells and Candace Bly years ago, and they failed to charge them with reasonable charges such as that. And I feel like that in this case, we should have some reasonable child abuse charges here. These children were in their care. All the adults were home. Not one adult outside with kids while they're running around and they're gone and they've never been found again. Somebody should be held accountable for that. There's no excuse why a parent couldn't have been outside with them. Even Janie should be arrested. She heard him outside unsupervised and went back to sleep. Right? They should all be in jail. And they would have proper charges, not trumped up charges. Okay? So, that's my thoughts on it, but we'll dive into it. If you guys have thoughts, please send those to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Now, we did forget, just before I close out today, I was talking about people sending me some recipes for Thanksgiving, and I was going to look for them this morning, and I got sidetracked again, and we never went over them. So I put those 2 recipes that were just sent to me. One is for a pumpkin nut roll. It sounds fabulous. And the other one is for a pineapple casserole, which from what I'm hearing pairs amazing with ham. So if you guys would like to see or get those recipes, please go on Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. I dropped it. Those 2 recipes are at the very end or close to the end. You will be able to stop them and write it down or take a screenshot and print it. So get over there, check those out, see if it's something that you would like to add to your table this year for Thanksgiving. And if you have a Thanksgiving recipe that you would like to share with the coffee club, please send it to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Perfect. We got an apple pie recipe coming our way. And so I will be going over these 3 recipes to make sure it gets on the main show in the morning. So please be there, be square. We're going to be rolling out about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning with our first show, and then we'll be dropping some videos throughout the day, and then coming back for an evening closeout of any type of news and stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of news going on out there right now that I could really see outside of the cruise ship, which is a sad story. And we're getting no information from Melody's case. We're getting no real information from Keon King or Kata Scott's case. And so we just don't really have a whole lot. So what we're going to do is start going back to some of the cases that we have that are open and active that have not been closed out, and going back to the beginning of those, and let's get started. Let's go back. Did we miss something? We always miss something. Believe that. Every time I go back to the beginning of a case, it's amazing how new information jumps off the page at you. Sometimes you just need to step away from it and then go back to it, and it's amazing how the case starts speaking to you. So anyways, we'll be rolling that out over the next week, but I think we'll be diving back into Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case, because we're going to be coming up to a 2-year milestone. We're going to be doing an event in Sumner County that I'm hoping that a lot of people come to for February 26th. That's the 2-year milestone. I may have to set up like Eventbrite just to get a head count on that, because I want to make sure that I have plenty of water, and we always have like a little dessert or treat, such as a large cake or something like that, and anything that we have left over. Even though we're kind of upset with Sumner County, all leftover cake goes to the police, the sheriff's department, with a thank you card. Despite how we feel, we always tell them thank you, because it's just the right thing to do, even though I feel like they are not doing the best that they could be doing. At the end of the day, they do serve our country, they do serve the community, and they never know if they're ever going to make it home to their family and their children. So at the end of the day, I still thank them for their service, despite how I feel about them on a personal basis or, on a case basis. So that's just kind of how we do. It's just the right thing to do. We are a moral channel over here, and we try to do the right thing all the time. We're very loud, we cuss a lot, we'll tell people to go F themselves, but at the end of the day, our heart's in the right place, and we may be vicious, but we're not heartless bitches. I'm trying to make sure I miss the T there. Okay, it's a little hard. Okay, I'm a sailor. All right, guys, rock it out. We'll see you guys first thing in the morning, and then Thanksgiving, guys. What I'm going to do for you guys special for Thanksgiving is I'm going to get up super early. You guys should be having your turkey in. You're going to need some morning entertainment at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Whoever's up is up. Whoever's not up, you guys can watch the replay crew, because I'm going to be doing Thanksgiving with you guys first thing in the morning, and then I've got to go and help my best friend get her Thanksgiving off, and all you have to worry, that's okay. I'll entertain you, baby. I'll entertain you. So we'll do that. Anyways, guys, I love you. I will talk to you soon, and we'll figure it out. Have a great night.